I was a necromancer of some repute, feared, envied, and, most importantly, really quite pleased with myself. My skeleton army was a marvel, perfectly polished skulls, synchronized marching, and not a single one of them rattling off beat. A triumph of undead choreography. Unfortunately, for all my meticulous work in getting my minions to parade with military precision, I'd neglected one crucial detail: my own mortality. Immortality had been on my list, of course, right after teach skeletons to salute and figure out why Harold, my most reliable revenant, keeps losing his femur. But before I could check it off, a cloaked assassin, courtesy of a rival necromancer who apparently found my existence inconvenient, put a poisoned dart in my neck. Just like that. No dark ritual, no final monologue. Down I went into the muck. No hidden soul jar, no backup body. Just dead, which, in hindsight, was ridiculous. I'd had contingencies before, plenty of them, but I'd used them up one by one and never quite got around to restocking. Guess I'd grown complacent, figuring I'd always have time later. Turns out, later's a fickle thing. Word spread, but nobody believed it. My enemies, apprentices, and the ever-paranoid witch hunters all had the same reaction. That tricky bastard's up to something. They ransacked my tower, scattering research notes, scrutinizing my potion-stained grocery lists, eggs, grave dust, milk, and deciding they were cryptic instructions for resurrection. They dug up crypts, harassed perfectly innocent gravekeepers, and torched barns rumored to house my secret rebirth. Every false lead only made me more legendary. No trace of an escape? Clearly, my magic had grown so sophisticated it defied detection. My complete absence from the land of the living only proved I was hiding in a form too cunning for mortal eyes. Meanwhile, I watched from the afterlife, lounging in the great beyond, spectral arms folded and cackled. I'd managed, through sheer negligence, to elevate myself to mythical status. A living necromancer was a nuisance. A possibly immortal, untraceable necromancer? That was a crisis. Witch hunters emptied their coffers on charms that would surely disrupt my foul sorcery. Entire guilds dedicated themselves to my inevitable return. One particular zealot insisted he could feel my dark presence lurking in every drafty attic. But the real amusement came from my fellow necromancers. My death should have been cause for celebration, a rival conveniently removed. Instead, it made them restless. If he's truly dead, where's the proof? What if he's watching us, waiting? What if he's biding his time, preparing something unspeakable? And my personal favorite, he wouldn't just die. He's too much of a smug bastard for that. And so, paranoia did my work for me. No one dared move against my apprentices for fear I had passed on some terrible secret. My rivals watched their own shadows, certain I would step out of one at any moment. Kings and scholars alike penned dissertations on the unfathomable genius of my supposed escape from death itself. A temple, an actual temple, was founded in my name, devoted to interpreting the signs of my return. Every now and then, a warlock would declare they had unraveled the mystery of my disappearance. Inevitably, their theories ranged from hilariously misguided to outright lunatic. One particularly ambitious fellow claimed I'd transcended my body and now whispered forbidden knowledge into the ears of the desperate. I was almost tempted to do just that, but watching their spiraling delusions was far more entertaining. I had become legend, myth, the unseen puppet master pulling strings from beyond. The irony? It had taken no grand scheme, no carefully laid masterstroke, just me being too lazy to prepare for my own assassination. And now, across the kingdom, they waited, watching shadows and listening to the wind, bracing for a return that would never come. I, meanwhile, planned to spend eternity exactly as I had spent my last years in life, reclining comfortably and watching fools exhaust themselves chasing ghosts. My ghost, to be precise. It was, hands down, the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Later, in the afterlife, years rolled by, decades maybe, time's a bit fuzzy here, and the living world's clamor over me faded to a dull hum. Then one day, a familiar crew shimmered into the afterlife, that cloaked assassin and his posse. the ones who darted me way back when. Their mortal lives had finally run dry, and there they stood, gaping as I waved from my spot by a misty riverbank. "You?" the assassin sputtered, eyes wide. "Took you long enough?" I grinned, savoring the way their jaws hit the floor. They'd sparked a legend with that kill, and now here I was, still laughing, the punchline they'd never seen coming.